Hey guys, this is the first YouTube video, so if it sucks, I'm sorry. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Boss GT-1000 and using the Midi switching capabilities out of it. So I was a little bummed out when I first tried this because I figured out pretty quickly how to use the Midi of the pedal to change the channels of the amp. But what kind of sucked about it was I had no way to have any feedback from the pedal about what channel of the amp I was on. And I guess the feedback I'm talking about would be the LED lights on the pedal. You know, I was wanting to assign a button to turn on the clean, crunch, overdrive 1, overdrive 2, and I wanted some LED lights that I could look down at and be able to see what channel I was on. And for some people, maybe that doesn't matter. For me, it does. Because I can't ever remember what channel I'm on. I always have to look down at the amp and, okay, I'm in my crunch mode, or I'm in the clean, or I'm in overdrive 1 or 2, and depending on the song, you know, maybe I'll go from clean to overdrive 1. So I kind of need that kind of visual reference on this is where I'm at. And for a little bit, I guess it didn't matter because I was running a Headrush FR cabinet, and I was just using the internal amp simulations and 1 through 5 on the GT-1000 and programming different patches, and that's how I was getting my clean, my crunch, my overdrive, this, that, and the other. But as I played around with that a little bit, I realized that it wasn't giving me the sound that I wanted, so I wanted to kind of integrate back in and use a guitar amplifier and do the 4-cable method and just switch channels on the amp. So I got this JVM 410, and it came with this monstrous 6-button foot switch, which I think is awesome they send with the amp because most manufacturers don't send the foot switches. But the GT-1000 plus that 6-button switch, that took up a lot of real estate on stage. And I play in a band with 6 different people, so, you know, we're pretty tight on space, which is part of the reason why I didn't go with the half stack. I went with the combo amp. So, back to this MIDI thing, you know, I wanted to get rid of that 6-button foot switch, and I just wanted to use the GT to do all the amp control. And just turn on the effects that I use, and I don't really care about the ones I don't use, you know, because I mainly just use compressor, delay, a couple overdrives, and a wall pedal. So I'm going to show you my kind of workaround on how I got this to work, and give me some feedback from the controller to tell me what amp channel I was in. So the first thing I did here is I just went to the user 1-1 setting, and I initialized that patch. And for the ones that have the GT-1000, I don't need to explain how I initialized the patch. So then I came up here and I went to menu, and I went to control assign, and I went to the control function. And I used bank 1 to be my EQ1, Bank 2 to be EQ2, Control 1 to be EQ3, and Control 2 to be EQ4. And that's really all I set up in here. I left my tuner at Control 3 the way that Boss had it programmed, and I changed my buttons 1 through 5 to be compressor, master delay, effects 1, distortion 2. You can set those up however you want to do it. I came back into the menu and the control assign. This time I went to assign setting. If I scroll up here to number 1, you can see I set MIDI patch PC number, and I'll scroll over here all the way to the right, and I set that as program change number 1. And that'll be the clean channel on my Marshall amp. And I'm using the bank down to send that MIDI change, and I'm shutting off EQ2, 3, and 4. I'll scroll down here to where I've got the bank up set, and I'm using that to do program change number 2, as you can see here. And I'm shutting off EQ1, 3, and 4. I got my control 1 as program change number 3, and I shut off EQ 1, 2, and 4, and I got my control 2 as program change number 4, and I shut off EQ 1, 2, and 3. And then for me, what I did is I just came in here back to the control sign and went to the LEDs, and I set these to be bank down was white, bank up was yellow, control 1 is orange, control 2 is red. You can set that up however you want them and whatever colors you're wanting. So I come in here to the effects. I don't know if you can see it, just because of the contrast of the phone versus the pedal. But if I push bank down, that turns on EQ 1. If I push bank up, it turns on EQ 2. Control 1 turns on EQ 3. And control 4 turns on EQ 4. And if we look up here at the guitar amp, as I press bank down, I get the clean mode of this guitar amplifier. But if I push bank up, then I get the crunch mode. And control 1 gives me overdrive 1. And control 2 gives me overdrive 2. So the couple things that sucks about this is I had to eat up all 4 EQ stages in this pedal just to be able to turn a light on and off. And I'm not a program designer or software engineer, but I really think that there's a way that Boss could implement some sort of update to be able to, you know, kind of internally, hey, he's using Midi to turn stuff on and off. We can let him turn on an LED light with this and not have to eat up, you know, 4 different effects in my case. And but maybe that's not a bad thing, because I can take maybe EQ 1, give myself a better clean sound, EQ 2, give myself better crunch sound, 3, better overdrive 1, and 4, a better overdrive 2. So maybe that's not really a big deal, or nearly as big of a deal as I think it is. But the other thing that kind of sucks about this is for the guys like me that want to run this in kind of a pedal board or stomp box mode, where you don't want to program up a bunch of different patch changes. It just kind of, it limits you on what you're able to do, because basically the EQ 1, 2, 3, and 4 is the only thing you can use that isn't going to color your sound, because you can set those as flat and not change the sound of the amplifier. But, you know, maybe I wanted to use the bank down button, for instance, to be some sort of lead boost or an EQ boost. And now I'm not going to be able to do that because, well, I'm just turning on a flat EQ to give me an LED light. And I guess kind of the third thing that sucks about this is all 16 of the control functions in the assign matrix, I had to use all of those up just to do these lights. Like I said, I think there's a way Boss could implement something, some sort of update to be able to do what I'm wanting to do, and I don't think it'd take too much. And in saying that, I understand the guys that's got maybe the Line 6 Helix or the head rush unit. I understand the Helix has the snapshots, and you can kind of turn stuff on and off via them. And I'm not completely familiar with how the head rush works, but I'm just not a huge fan of the Line 6 stuff. And that's why I kind of bought the Boss. You know, I'm not saying that the Helix and the head rush doesn't have excellent sounds, because I've watched hundreds of YouTube videos. I mean, my wife has gone mad with me watching YouTube videos of all these different kinds of units and the different effects that are out there. And there's some guys that get killer sounds out of all these, but I was just a fan of the Boss unit, and it's just kind of a letdown to have to set it up this way just to do kind of what I think, in my opinion, something pretty simple. So, you know, I hope this helps someone that's maybe wanted to do some MIDI switching and have a little bit of LED light feedback on what channel they're on. You know, use those EQ settings, because you can set them flat and they're not going to change the sound of your amp, and you know, then you can still turn on and off the effects that you want on and off. But you know, that's just kind of my take on it, and I wish there could maybe be some sort of update on it. So I thank you guys for your time. See ya.